Hello. I'd like to talk about touch once again today because it plays a really big role in conscious sensuality. We've all been touched, and we all have touched other people in a lot of different ways. That could just be shaking someone's hand, giving someone a kiss, putting your arm around someone, or maybe even go as far as caressing the top of somebody else's hand or other parts of their body. Now, this in itself is nothing spectacular, but if you've listened and read some of the things that I've written or talked about in videos before, you'll know that Tantra is very big on separating two roles, namely the giver and the receiver. And that is especially important when it comes to touch, because we do experience receiving touch in a very different way from the way we experience giving touch. You will be very much aware of this. If you do this to yourself, then you have two sensory inputs at the same time. You have that receiving bit where the back of your hand experiences receiving touch, whereas the fingers, on the other hand, experience giving touch. And because the receiving side is so much more intense, we often forget how it feels to actually give and to listen to our fingertips in that situation. Now, maybe there's a way to train yourself to take in that information more. And there's a simple way of doing this, which involves things that you can hold in your hand. And in my case, it's very often things like stones, different kinds. It could be a piece of wood, that could be a bit of ceramic, anything really you can hold in your hand. And just to give you an idea, I've chosen this kind of stone for a good reason. It looks wonky and it has very weird shape. So when you go through the shapes with your thumbs, with your fingers, you will sense that there is a distinction. But the trick is here that because you don't feel what the stone feels, you only feel what you give. And that will inform the way you experience this and how it pleasures you to give. In a similar way, you could go for a different kind of stone that is relatively flat, but because it's not completely flat, you will still feel the odd indentation and the change in shape and the fact that it's not completely round, that kind of thing. So you wouldn't go for a marble to do this exercise, but for something that is oddly shaped or that has an interesting surface. You could go for a brush or a kitchen utensil, anything that allows you to experience different surfaces and different shapes. Give that a go and become more aware of what you experience when you give, and then go back to giving and receiving and try to balance those two out. Be well and stay well.